Good afternoon. I'm here with my grandparents, Bernie and Stephen Speltz. Would you mind starting off telling us a little bit about when you started to notice a change in technology, for example, the first cell phone that you had?
I could answer that, I guess, by telling you about when I graduated as an electrical engineer in 1955. The last chapter in the book was on transistors, and up to that time it was all vacuum tube. So that bothered me down the road a ways, that I knew that I could see the technology was changing, and so I decided one way to learn something about what was going on in the last chapter of my electrical engineering book. I decided to build my own computer, a Heathkit computer, and I programmed it in machine language, and that's how it all started for me.
Okay. And Bernie, can you tell us about your cell phone experience and the current phone you hold today?
Well, the phone I have today is a little flip phone, and it's the only cell phone I've ever had. I just, I keep it with me. I keep it charged. I rarely use it. It's not on unless I need to use it. It's an emergency type thing with me. I really don't care if I stay connected to the world right now.
Now, can you speak a little bit about how social media and the ease of access to different type of apps have impacted your lives, or have you noticed others around you?
Well, Bernie doesn't really text or do anything except, as she said earlier, use their cell phone for emergency use. I, on the other hand, have found it very beneficial. A point to be made is that I now have on my iPhone iWallet, which allows me to pay my charges without taking my credit card out of my wallet. All I do is hold up my iPhone, and the radio frequency signal actually takes care of everything for those merchants who have adopted that form of payment. And there's not that many yet around, but I think within a few years everybody will use that approach.
Okay, Bernie, would you mind telling us a little bit about the change you noticed when credit cards became prevalent and how they affected your life?
Well, I had never had a credit card, and our second child, Michael, was in college and was ready to come home after his freshman year, and Steve was overseas, and we knew he was going to be overseas when time came. So I had to drive from New Jersey to Indiana to pick up Michael, and Steve got me my first credit card. It was a American Express card, so that I could, drive and have money for whatever we needed. And that would have been probably about, I don't know, I'd have to do some math, maybe 76 or so. I don't remember exactly when it was. But that was the first credit card I ever had. And after that, I made sure I kept one.
Mm-hmm. And how would you say they are beneficial or hurting, having a credit card in regards to your spending habits?
Oh no, I think they're very beneficial. I didn't have to worry about carrying large sums of money. We never abused it, never overspent anything.
The point is, we've always paid off the entire balance every month.
Yes.
We've never taken on any charges that we would have to pay
Any interest on it.
any interest on.
You only spend what you have. I sometimes wonder, though, if people have forgotten how to write letters and even converse with each other. I remember, this must have been as much as 8 or 10 years ago. We were at a baseball game, and I noticed two young girls a couple of rows in front of us at the game, and they both had a cell phone, and they were both talking to someone else on the cell phone. They weren't watching the game. They weren't talking to each other. It was all you know, the cell phone. It's as if you can't communicate with somebody one-on-one.
Many of them use it to talk with each other, even though they're sitting next to each other?
I'm not sure. I've also been out to dinner and seen probably a husband and wife or a couple come in and sit down and both of them take out a cell phone and start working with the cell phone rather than talking to each other. I think people are losing that somewhat.
I want to make a comment about social media. I would advise all the young people to avoid any kind of social media. As a former executive for many different companies, I can tell you that when those young people apply for a job, the human resource people in the company they're applying for a job to will check social media first before they do anything else and see just what this particular individual has posted on there. And it could very well impact their getting a job that they might want.